Yo, howdy y'all. Alright, so on this video I just actually want to do a random one and show y'all my favorite remakes of horror films, I guess, since the 80s. Okay, so this is going to date back to the 80s. Alright, so I'm going to start from my... See, all these are my favorite, but, you know, it goes from 10 down to 1. 1 being the best and 10 being the not-so-best out of this group. But these are the ones I do like. Okay. The first one on the list is House of Wax. Now, before you start bashing this because of Paris Hilton or whatnot, yes, gladly she dies. But it's actually a remake of Tourist Trap from 1979. And I believe in my one Fangoria magazine, they actually quote on that. They just used the House of Wax title because it was more franchisable or more recognizable as a product. The company did. But anyway, so this is pretty much Tourist Trap for, you know, the new generation. Okay, on to the next one is Dawn of the Dead. Even though movies prior to it have already had the running zombies, this really amplified it. You know, I mean, there were running zombies in like the 1972 film Children Should Have Played Dead Things, or the running zombies in Return of the Living Dead from 1985, and of course in 28 Days Later. But this definitely amplified it. Alright, next one is, I particularly like this remake. A lot of people don't, and they think it's one of the director's worst of one of his more worst films, but I actually like it a lot. And I have since I saw it in the theater, way back when I was in 8th grade, I think, when it came out. But John Carpenter's Village of the Damned. I always thought this place always had a special place in my heart, this movie here. It's badass. Okay, on to the next one. The Ring. Really needs no introduction. Everybody knows what The Ring is. You know, it's a remake on the Japanese Ringu. But this really, you know, with the visuals and the moods, the atmosphere, the dreadful atmosphere, and everything is just pitch perfect with this movie. Really good. Creepy. Okay, the next one. I thought this was a well done remake. It was, I mean, it was like pumped on steroids and amplified to 1,000, I don't know, but it was badass, and that is The Hills Have Eyes. Okay, I thought Alexander Aja did a fucking badass job on this film. You know, they kept it to the basic premise, it changed a little few things here and there, but it hit its beats, but it did something different too. And I think, you know, this is a good remake right here. Okay. The next one is one I really enjoyed a lot, and I didn't expect to, was The Last House on the Left from 2009. I liked some of the changes they made up in this one as well, because, you know, for the audiences who know this movie so well, I liked how they changed things up to kind of throw you off a little bit. So I thought this was well made, well acted, intense, and even the rape scene in the woods it made me cringe a lot. You know, so it still had its own brutal, you know. It was more glossy, yes, than the original. The original you watch and you want to take a bath after or shower afterwards. But this, I mean, it's a bit more glossy, but it's a damn good, gritty, brutal remake. Alright. So, oh, okay. Now, before I show this one, I just want y'all to know, I saw the original foreign version first. And then a year later, 2 years later, I saw this one. And when it came out in theaters. And I think that they're both perfect companion pieces to each other. They both have their own strong strengths and their own weaknesses, but I like it as much as I like the original, and that's Let Me In, starring Chloe Grace Moretz. This movie was effing amazing in my book, and you know, it has a lot of different themes in it. You know, with eternal love. You know, not eternal love, but having to rely on people for eternity. Since she's like this as a kid, and it has a lot to do with school bullying and stuff like that. So, and it's really well done, very well shot, with the most respect to the source novel and the original film. And it blew my mind when I saw this in the theater. I didn't expect to like it so much, but man, I fucking love it. Great film. Okay. The last two I'm getting down to. Okay, so these are the last two, meaning these are my all-time favorite ones. The other ones were in order, going from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so these are the last two. Okay, number 2 on my list is John Carpenter's The Thing. Need any introduction? I don't think so. But man, between the badass special effects, practical effects in this, to the fucking badass atmosphere of paranoia and claustrophobia and all that shit. And the music itself, it's an amazing remake. Okay, this is in my top 3. You know, this is number 2 actually, but yeah, this is definitely a fucking great remake. Okay, and the last but not least, my absolute favorite remake of all time is 1988 Chuck Russell's The Blob. Okay, this is a fucking monster movie, creature feature film to the max, and I absolutely love this film. The special effects and the death scenes were absolutely out of this world awesome. You know, a guy gets pulled into a fucking sink drain, a girl in a phone booth gets like pretty much covered and gobbled up. And there's this couple out in Lover's Lane on a date, and basically when he feels her boobs, like this stuff comes out of her boobs and eats him up. It's fucking crazy, but it's seriously one of the most entertaining remakes I've ever seen. And unfortunately, it didn't do well in theaters when it came out originally, but it got its core audience from when it came out on VHS to rent and everything. But no, this is like my all-time favorite remake right here. So if you've never seen The Blob, I definitely advise you to check it out sometime. It stays true to the original, but also it amps up the gore, and the special effects are fucking awesome. Anyway, so that's my list of my favorite remakes of horror films. So if you want, list some of yours below. If you agree, disagree, whatnot. Anyhow, peace.